I've never been more ready in my life. We've grown, we've gained weight. At least I've gained weight.
Welcome back to episode 8 of Simply Simple. Drew, it's been a while.
It's been a while. We've aged quite a bit. I am close to 30. And the suspense of when this podcast is going to end is killing me.
Well, Drew, how long has it been? 3 weeks? Oh,
3 weeks, 5 months.
I think some of
I don't
our,
think we can say, can we?
well, our subscribers will be able to suss out how long it's been since the last episode, but you don't know.
We could be fooling them in
We've
terms of upload.
pre-recorded those episodes.
Exactly. We recorded those last year.
Have we pre-recorded these? Technically, we would have, right?
Was this recorded 5 weeks before publishing? Who knows?
Oh God. Okay. Well, howdy who. Welcome back to
We are
episode
back.
8.
There's a
Feels very new again. I feel like I'm filming episode 1.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, but we couldn't stop
Yeah.
speaking.
Well, how are you, Drew? What have you been up to? How has life been for you?
Life's been busy.
Mm.
It hasn't been very simply simple.
No, it definitely has not been.
So it's
Been very up and down. That's
Ex-
our podcast name.
exactly, but got to give the
In the
people what they
future.
want. We have a budding audience, so
Oh, yes. Welcome to our new subscribers. Drew, we've hit 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 and something. I don't have my phone.
yeah, hopefully it doesn't drop when this gets published. But
People
yeah,
will
we're
watch this episode and they'll be like, dang, this
they're like, what are we doing? Yeah,
I know.
it's like, did I sign up for this? Like, oh god.
Ah, shit. Well, you can always unsubscribe, but welcome to our new followers. I cannot believe
You're
we've
like the
hit.
first person who's like, you should unsubscribe rather than.
It's all about
We don't do
transparency.
clickbait. We don't do
We don't
clickbait.
do clickbait.
We're
It's
all
about
for.
transparency.
If you don't like us, don't watch. That's our motto.
That is very straight up. That I will add that into the disclaimer. But yes, in this episode, Drew, apart from our life being up and down, one of the downs we want to talk about is the cost of wanting more. Why enough is never enough. And in this episode, we're going to dive into consumerism, a bit distinct from materialism, but not just the classic in-person shopping kind. We're talking about our obsession with staying on top of trends, the pressure to upgrade to the newest tech. Your bank account is crying, let me tell you, and how we've quietly slipped into a subscription economy, which we'll talk about maybe in the next episode. We don't know. But Drew, kick us off. What is consumerism and how does that differ from materialism?
Well, consumerism is a lot about deriving your value, deriving your sense of self, and having enjoyment in purchasing the goods itself, believing that the idea of purchasing things will give you fulfillment and happiness in your life. And as we will discuss, there's been a few things that have been happening in the world that suggest and show that consumerism, that act of purchasing things to be happier, essentially, is increasing in society. And we'll go into the reasons why and whether it's a good or a bad thing. It's up to you to decide, after all. So that's what I would consider the simply simple way of describing consumerism.
It's very simple. Well
Yeah.
done.
And did you want to talk a bit about materialism?
Oh, yes. Let's just say materialism is the equivalent of prestige, of buying a bunch of goods for the name, just for the sake of having them, for the brand, etc. So it's more of a personal attitude towards buying things, but consumerism is more of a economic ethos towards purchasing things.
That's a very interesting use of the term.
Complexedly complex.
Exactly.
But yes, it's very interesting because consumerism is all, you kind of see a lot of marketing out there, advertising the newest tech. And maybe you could be someone who has the newest iPhone, but the materialistic side of you is like, oh, I don't need the newest iPhone because I already have the one that just came out, but maybe I need the one that's yet to come out. So, a little bit of a distinct difference between consumerism and materialism.
Yeah, and tell us about what you've seen and what are some common examples of that
Mm.
today.
Well, I think marketing is getting very, very smart. So we all know the big, signage, the billboards when you're driving through the motorway, advertising the newest cars, newest products, newest ice cream flavors as well. I think marketing is becoming very smart in the sense that there is more data that marketers are working with to know what the preferences are of individuals like us and what kind of products and features that they want to see.
Yes, and it's not just about knowing us as people. It's really a bit more looking at, well, this person feels this way.
It's all
How
quite
can how
strategic.
can I how can I position this product so that it feels like to the customer
Mm-hmm.
that if they buy it, they will now feel this way. They will feel some sense of I need this in my life,
Mm.
and this will make my life better, even if it might not.
I feel like product positioning has become very, very nifty. Like you see, I don't know, Beats headphones in a music video, and the way that, the celebrity approaches them is quite fancy and smooth. And yeah, so marketing, they're becoming more, if you're watching YouTube, you will notice that a lot of the ads are becoming skits, more personable as well. So you've got that personal element that psychologically comforts you and convinces you to an extent.
Yes, of course.
How about
And
you, Drew?
how about me? What?
Some personal observations. We have smart marketing, maybe buy now, pay later.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, one of the things that jumps to mind immediately is the unboxing videos,
Halls.
the hauls. People all crowd together and watch these videos, and it's almost like the act of purchasing something is so fascinating and so cool, and
Mm.
people just love to see what people feel, and
Mm-hmm.
the act of shopping itself is now glorified.
Yeah.
It's all very interesting social developments,
It's been a
if you ask
while
me.
since I've watched hauls on YouTube. They used to be, clothing hauls, makeup hauls, but now it's a lot of, I don't know if this comes with age, God knows, but it's unboxing like the newest, you know, keyboard for your work from home setup. And it feels very, I don't know, I feel like I've used the word prestige a lot, but very like, ooh, like I'm on top of like the new technologies coming up. It's so
Well,
fascinating.
that's a good example actually, because you look at your keyboard, whatever that keyboard is, and you're like, wow, I purchased this. I am clearly like a very serious,
Top of the keyboard
hardworking
game.
profession. Like I deserve my success. I am so smart and intelligent because I have a
Yeah.
good keyboard. Is that what you're thinking when
Oh,
you?
100%. But it's also like now I feel like I've seen more people build their own keyboards, and never in my life would I've, been like, I'm going to build my keyboard. But now I'm like, oh,
I think your
that sounds
algorithm's cooking
interesting.
you into
No,
these weird corners.
these aren't just algorithms, but these are also personal observations. But anyway, so smart marketing, we have glorification of products through hauls as well, and the influence of social media platforms like YouTube, short form media, Instagram, TikTok. You also have emergent platforms like buy now, pay later. So you have that comfort of purchasing something without having to pay for it.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more accessible, and also Amazon. Can't forget
Oh,
Amazon.
yes.
And free shipping and the idea
That's
that
dangerous.
everything's a click away, one click purchase. Pretty much all the barriers to buying things are now you don't have to like drive to the mall,
Yeah.
get some friends.
Upgrade
You
and
don't have to do
your
any of that. You can just
shipping will come one day earlier.
be sitting on the loo and ordering stuff.
Yes, that's true, actually.
But it's just a different world now than,
Yeah.
than the parents.
Because the phone that you purchased that was advertised to you makes it even more easier to spend money because everything is at your fingertips.
Everything in the world is about spending money. That's what makes the economy go round and
And
round.
your bank account is still crying. So maybe one day we'll come out with a budgeting episode. One day. Anyways, Drew, so those are some of the personal kind of observations that we've seen between us, and we're sure that there's more. But yeah, so consumerism, it's all about the idea of personal happiness and fulfillment.
Yeah, I mean that sounds great. I want to be happy and fulfilled too. So what's wrong with it?
Nothing. Maybe your bank account will be like,
Yeah, well,
SOS.
work harder.
Oh, gosh. Wow. First week back and there's already
I'm
tough,
kidding,
tough
I'm
Janet.
kidding, I'm kidding. We're gonna be talking about why this development is going on. What's going on in this world? Why are we now like this, and why weren't maybe our parents or the older generation like this? What makes Gen Z different? Gen Alpha,
Oh, all of
whatever
the
the other
gens.
gens are, yeah.
Yes. Well, one observation I've had in terms of keeping up to date with tech, and we're primarily going to be using technology as an example because it's just easier.
We can also talk about other things like fashion.
Oh, coffee bean subscriptions too.
That's for the subscription episode.
Oh, stay tuned. But I think one reason why we're so convinced to buy a product, even though we may not need it, is that privacy and safety component. I feel like a lot of the time we might think that if we buy something that's up to date, we'll have up to date software and there's more privacy protection. You kind of see it through, like, home cameras, smart home cameras, and all these smart devices. And I think maybe that's one particular aspect where people just want to be more safe for their family and for themselves as well, as a majority of things are moving into the digital world.
Right. And we live perhaps in the safest society we've ever been in, but we're
Mm.
still buying things that make us feel safer.
Hmm.
So you think what's the consumerism there? Buying
Mm.
these safe things.
Well, it kind of links
What makes it
back.
consumerism and not smart business?
I think it's just the advertising. I think that, look, we don't have psychology degrees, but I would love to speak to someone to know how it all works in the brain. But I think it's just to, stay updated, or the pressure to stay updated, or the social influence of seeing YouTubers or influencers or someone within your friend group who has like a particular technology that you would be wanting, or you're sussing it out, but you haven't really pressed the purchase button yet because you need that person to be like, "Oh, this is actually a good piece of technology."
So tell me how your friends influence your purchase.
Oh, well, I think it's more like, maybe I've been researching a product for like a few months to a year, maybe, but I haven't yet been convinced of it to purchase it, to have it, to buy it until someone in my friend or family group has it and I can see more of its functionality in person. And maybe that'll kind of bring me over the edge to buying it.
Right. So you want to see it in action.
Mm.
Are you a consumerist? Is that the consumerist?
I would be lying if I denied it. But yeah, so I do think it's the pressure to kind of stay updated. Oh, there goes my agenda, and the fear of missing out as well. Oh, thank you, Drew. Very nice. But also I think it's just that really nice. We have dopamine written here
Oh,
too.
tell us about dopamine.
Oh,
That's a cool word.
I know. Well, I think it's just that happy, I don't want to use the word hit. Happy boost that you get psychologically when you're buying a product and you feel like you're kind of, on top of the game with products, and you're kind of doing yourself good with buying something that you've seen or maybe pondered for a while and then finally have hit the purchase button on. But how about you, Drew? While I pick up my agenda that flew away, what are some observations or trends rather that you've picked up?
Yeah, so I think the dopamine that talks about we do it for a reason, we feel good. So we have these chemical receptors in our brain. We have that flood of happiness. Is that the word you said? Bliss, joy,
Boost.
boost.
Yeah.
Yes, we have all of that. I think also a lot of people have really busy lives these days.
Mm.
This goes back to our episode 7, Generation Home. You can click the link
Mm.
if we can put it up. If you're on
Somewhere.
YouTube, if you're audio listener, we will
Maybe
link
on
it in
the
the show
podcast
notes. We can
part.
link in
I
the
don't
show
know which
notes.
side it goes on. That's a really good point as
Yes.
well.
Yes. So things cost things. We're so busy in life. We have work. We have responsibilities. We have our personal goals. We have a lot of things going on. We're trying to make ends meet. And one of the easiest things to do to get happiness when you're so busy is to just click the buy button. It is just so easy to get this dopamine. That's the word of the day. To get
Yes.
this dopamine by just pressing the buy button. You don't have to work really hard for your happiness. You don't have to like talk to anyone. You don't have to like put any effort in. You don't have to.
You know, you've just had a long week and you're like, I think I need the newest iPhone. Like, I don't need it. I just want it.
Well, you don't even think. You don't even have to think that. You can just be
Yeah.
like, I like buying
This is
things.
great.
Buying things is
Buy
great.
now.
I have dopamine. I feel good when I buy things.
Oh, and it ships in 2 to 3 business days?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and I think so. It's just one of the easiest ways,
Yeah.
and I think I say that, but I think you touched on this earlier is
Yep.
marketing. I
Yeah.
think marketing, advertising is it's very interesting industry because a lot of it is, in one sense, you're putting products in front of people. If you're just dropping everything
I
today.
feel like I am dropping everything today, but that's okay.
Yes,
I'll
well,
pick it up later.
advertising itself has dropped the ball.
Oh,
I
drop
know,
the
I know,
ball.
it dropped the ball.
Wow, the way you said it too. Jesus.
Well, in the sense
You gotta
that
add some kind of effect there.
so advertising theory puts the product with the person who wants it. But
Yep.
nowadays, it's about making you feel a bit bad about yourself, making you feel like you're not enough without this product. So I think,
It's like that self-care component in a
yeah,
way.
yeah, and advertising's now everywhere. Like you said, people know everything about you. They know exactly how you feel, and it's just very easy to make you feel like you need something. And also
Mm.
social comparisons, status, all of those things where you see people with this product. This
Mhm.
product is marketed. Apple, for example,
Yep.
iPhone is status.
It's selling you, quote unquote,
Or
the good life.
That's right, yes. So if you think to yourself, well, if I have my iPhone, I will also be a highly statused individual because that's how it's marketed.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of factors like this
Mm.
clumping together.
I feel like from my personal experience, like if I, with the iPhone, for example, I have one of the newest editions, and I feel like if I see one of my friends have the newest iPhone, I'm not going to be like, oh, I need it. But in the back of my mind, I will consider it. And that I feel like is like an aspect of consumerism because you feel like you want something even though you don't need it. And I think the way that, as you said, the companies, the way they advertise, it's kind of like a new take that if you purchase this product, your quality of life will go up to some degree. So I definitely agree, and that's a really good point.
Have you heard of the phrase hedonic treadmill?
Hedonic treadmill. I've heard the word treadmill and hedonic separately.
Right. Well,
Oh, is that the smart treadmill where it will track pretty much all your health data while you're using it?
that would be a much better use of that term,
Hedonic.
but unfortunately, it's not. It's not
Oh,
that at all. It is a metaphor.
you can tell I am very consumeristic.
It means it's the idea that we all have a baseline of happiness,
Mm,
and we can do things that will increase our happiness. But at the end of the day, it will go down to this baseline happiness that we have.
mm,
So, like many things in life, you buy things, it makes you feel better, and you think it'll always make you feel better.
mhm.
So it's like, you see a nice car, and you're like, oh, look how better.
Ah,
My life would be so much better if I had this car. Right.
yeah.
So let's say your happiness is like a 7,
Yep.
7 out of 10. And you're like, oh, I see this like nice Ferrari, and with all the simply simple money, I could I could go ahead and buy this Ferrari, and my life would be so much better, right? But
Is it kind of like that equivalent to like you work so hard to get to a particular goal, but thereafter, once you've achieved that goal, the question is what next now that you're here?
exactly. So like you buy this Ferrari, your happiness goes to like a 8 or a 9. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, my life is so cool with this Ferrari, right? But then like 1 or 2 months in, you're like, you're kind of over the Ferrari.
I
You're like,
don't like the latest features in my newest Ferrari.
oh, it's a bit annoying, it's a bit loud, bit of maintenance.
I'll
If,
fit right in the
yeah,
West.
if you feel that way about your Ferrari, let me know and send it to me.
Well,
But and then your happiness goes back to the
really
7.
good
So
points. Maybe we should add a hashtag in for psychology. But yes, really good point. So social media influence, marketing's getting smarter, the advertisement appearance that if you buy a tech, you're living a better life,
yeah,
so to say.
on social media, marketing's everywhere now.
Yeah.
Everyone's selling something to you.
Driving through the M4 and you just see a really nice brand of like, I don't know, a new car brand that I've never heard
Not even
of.
companies, just people.
Yeah.
Influencers sell things. They're all
Haagen-Dazs
sponsored.
ice cream, they're doing
They're
really
all
well on the
influencers, all sponsored. But you know who
Yeah.
isn't selling you stuff? We. We will one day, but not but not
Not
today.
now.
Not
You
today.
can save your money in like for 10 years. But yeah, so I do want to touch on the fact you mentioned busy life as well. So that kind of also links to companies who advertise a product as an all-in-one product. So often people don't really prefer the disparity or having disparate products. They just want everything in their hand, especially when you're juggling kids, dogs, fish, cats, cows, etc. um,
Cows.
oh, yeah. Good old friend. I've shown you that YouTube channel of the guy and the cow in the kitchen. That's ridiculous. If you know what I'm talking about,
If you know, you know.
yes. But I think is that all? I think like we talked about the availability of more data and the associated privacy risks. So obviously the more tech you buy, naturally you're going to have to buy add-on products. So consumerism extends beyond just buying the product, but buying add-on products.
Yes, and it's. I think companies try and get away with whatever they can, right? Maybe
Mhm.
things that weren't add-ons before are now add-ons
Mm.
to get more revenue and more growth.
Yes. And also the fact that a lot of, or I mean, I don't know the stats around this, but the majority of people in marketing are maybe in our age bracket. So if you are a marketer in your 20s, I'd love to know a little bit more about how you kind
Bring
of,
them on.
yeah, bring them on. We want to know like what you put into consideration. Um, TikTok or Instagram, like your go-to to see what the trends are. But I feel like you know, the kind of advertisements I've seen, especially people our age kind of know how to like get our attention because they're on top of like the latest kind of trends floating
And the
around.
psychology. They
Yeah.
know the psychology.
I watched an advertisement by the Muscle Republic the other day, and they were doing a TikTok dance to advertise their products or, promote a sale, which I thought was quite nice. I gave it a like. I really like the choreography.
Yeah, and
Would never.
I see ads for like tech, and it's like there's like this really suave looking
Mm.
businessman and like really nicely dressed and groomed and clean. You're like, you know
Yeah.
what? I buy this. I'm a legit
Did I
player.
turn my curler off? No, I did turn it off. I even unplugged it. Sorry.
Wow, this could have been a live stream of
My neighbor,
disaster,
no, my neighbor
but we
actually has
avoided that.
it's really cold in Sydney right now for our international viewers. Let's talk a little bit about our experience. I think we've kind of touched on a bit, but does keeping up with the latest trends incentivize us to continue pursuing new purchases? Why and why not?
It depends who you are. I gotta admit, this morning I was like looking at things to buy because I'm like I need to feel good about myself. So I was just like, what should I buy? Because I feel like that's just the easiest hit.
What were you looking at?
So many things like minor stuff for the most part, but also like tech, clothes.
Are there some things in there for me?
And then I realized that if you have a partner, it's not worth it
Look, you're
because everything you get, they'll want more.
Here's the saying, your partner's even I'm an independent woman, earn my own money, but your partner's salary is also my salary.
Okay,
But
okay,
yes, Drew,
okay.
yes, I
So
have to say it is a very interesting question. I'd like to know what your answer is.
yeah, so I think if you do keep up with the trends, it's hard not to want to continue to buy. It's a weird sentence. More things. Because you've kind of tied a bit of your identity into being that person with the latest things. So
Mm,
like whether it's a social identity or
mhm,
your friends notice like, oh,
yeah.
you always like got this time, that you want to keep that up, right? Also, even personally, even if your friends don't know that,
Mhm.
you might think to yourself like, I'm someone who like keeps on top of things, and I think once you're in that rhythm and in that mindset, it's a bit hard to stop.
I think there's also an aspect of like a good ratio. Like if you're a person who, you spend a few hours at work, or like if you're constantly grinding to, put food on your table, etc., or you're just really flat out with a busy schedule, treating yourself is quite nice and you should do that for that self-care component. If you're doing it quite frequently and, your account is crying to you, maybe, settle down a bit. But in
We
saying
don't
that,
offer
Drew,
financial advice.
we do not offer financial advice and we are not, experienced. Drew, I'm a mess today. Everything's falling off, bracelets falling off. But yes,
We'll come back to the costs of and the benefits of this later on.
to say another point, but I completely forgot. If it zones back in, I'll let you
Why
know.
don't we turn to our break?
We should! Yes! Okay, let's play a game, Drew. Let me just
Oh
put my
no.
bracelet back on, actually.
Okay.
Almost
I was just making undecipherable noises.
undecipherable.
Yes, undecipherable.
All right, we're back, Drew, and I'm very excited for this game. I love building games for our podcasts because I can get a bit creative and have a little bit of a chuckle here and there when we're mapping out what to talk about. But Drew, this game is called Need It or Fleece It. Basically, how it works is that the other person has to decide whether what I say is what they need, which is a justified purchase. So, do you need it? Or fleece it, which basically is you determine whether it's a consumer trap. Are you
Okay,
ready?
so needed is value, actually valuable, and
Yeah.
fleeced is like
Take it as something as you'd get.
fleeced is like if you get it, just think twice about who you are as a person. Is that what fleeced is?
I guess that's
Okay,
spot on.
okay,
Yep.
we'll do that.
If it simply is quite simple in your head, then it works.
Okay,
Alrighty. So the first option we have is a smart mirror with AI fitness coaching. It tracks your posture, your reps, and it gives motivational feedback. So instead of, writing affirmations on a mirror, AI will talk back to you. This is what the mirror is equipped with.
so if I'm like shirtless, it'll be like, you need to lose weight. Is that what it'll say? Like,
Essentially,
I will go. I'll go need it.
you'll need it. Oh,
I think so. You look at the mirror so often, every day.
that's true.
And if this mirror can actually talk to you properly and be like motivate you to be the best version of yourself,
Mhm.
like, you should do this,
Mm,
you know, watch out for this, walk a bit more,
yes.
eat something else,
Would you purchase
and
it?
it'll like watch you and be like, oh, stop eating that chocolate. You're like, oh,
If I'm eating snacks, I would
turn it off,
run away.
unplug.
Yeah. Oh, well, would you buy it if you needed to pay, say, like $10 a month?
Oh, now we're in the subscriptions part. I don't like subscriptions, so probably not.
Okay.
If a one-off purchase, I will think about it. If I need a mirror, I might as well get something that's a bit smarter. But
Okay.
then again, watch out for the privacy risks and look at the terms and conditions and the policy and all that. That's very important.
Good legal, not legal advice.
Definitely not.
But yes, so the next one. So we know that we have the little coffee plate warmers. You plug them in and
We
you
have done
put your
some
cup.
ourselves,
Yeah,
yes.
they are good. I need to.
Well, we are selling people things.
Oh yes,
We
we are.
said we weren't.
Yes, it's actually beside us.
They are of unknown quality.
Yes, Amazon. Okay, a USB-C heated coffee mug. It keeps your drink warm all day and it costs $90. I assume it's just a one-off purchase. Unless you make it a recurring one, then that's you.
I mean, $90 for it just keeps it warm all day.
I feel like you can do something similar with like a Frank
Yeah,
Green,
what's like I
Stanley,
think a
Yeti
keep
cup.
cup is fine.
Hmm.
I don't know why I need electricity and
What
the
if you could
USB-C.
adjust the temperature to it?
See, I think for the tea hobbyists, I think that would be a good purchase
Oh
because
yeah.
like teas, I think taste good at different temperatures. So that's how you like brew it. So I think that's probably the best way to do it and the best use of it. I am so simple with my drinking tastes that I do not qualify as that. So for me, it's a I'd say it's a needed for the right person, but for me, it's a fleece.
Would
What do
you?
you what would you say?
Well, I would fleece it too because I purchased a Stanley thermal cup, which I drink coffee out of most mornings, and it does a really good job. And the little electric pad that we have to put our cups on does a decent job as well. But I wanted to ask you, would you purchase it if it was self cleaning or self rinsing?
I like the dishwasher.
Mm,
Chuck it in, and
splash it with
that's enough
rain
self
water.
cleaning for me. I don't need
Alrighty.
anything else.
Next one. I like this one. A fridge with a built in touchscreen that has Spotify and everything a laptop essentially has. So it displays your calendar, it suggests recipes, and plays music as some of the highlights.
This is a fleece it. I mean, the fridge.
I know. Just put
Keep-
your veggies in and move on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not worth it. Probably some subscription to like just avoid fridges like that.
All right.
Unless it's a good deal and you get like a good price, then sure.
Yes. Alrighty. How about a smart?
Well, do you agree with that, or are you more like
I'd fleece it.
Okay.
I feel like, every single thing is having an LED screen on it. Like, can we please stop and just purchase some things for the functionality that is not overridden or, will decimate our eyesight more? Anyways, a smart fork, it vibrates when you
A smart fork.
when eating too fast. I quite like this one.
So what does it do? Sorry.
It vibrates when you're eating too fast. I feel like sometimes it's
It's
not.
like nom nom nom, and it just vibrates.
Yeah. Well, actually, what if you're really hungry and it's like vibrating? I'd chuck the fork out. I'd
Yeah,
fleece
I don't
it.
know. I don't know. I eat. This will definitely vibrate all the time for me. I'll be so annoyed and grumpy. So it's like, get out of
Image
get
of
out of
you
my
just
face.
lapping your food. Okay. How about a monthly mystery tech box subscription? Now, there's a lot of tech that floats around and is floating around in this world. So you pay $60 a month for a surprise gadget, and it might be something like a light up phone stand.
Please that. Please that. Yeah.
Sounded a bit lame when I just added the light up phone stand. I tried.
I mean, like, if you need random tech, that is, you're like a dopamine addict at this point. You're just completely.
You're a hoarder at this point.
Oh, you're completely gone.
I like this one. I like this one. But I feel like at the same time, like plants already do this. So why would you need the extra layer of tech? Oh, okay. I forgot what I wrote. An air purifying indoor plant pot claims to clean your air using NASA inspired tech.
If it works, I'll get it.
Yeah, NASA premium.
I like air. Air quality is so important.
Get us the New Zealand
Are
air
you,
quality.
are you with that?
Yes, I would take this one. I think is this our first one that we've got the mirror and so far this. Okay. I really like this one and maybe you might like it too. It's an AI generated outfit subscription where basically you upload your photo, you get weekly outfit suggestions, have the clothes delivered, you can return them all for $130 a month.
It's too expensive.
Mm.
I don't know. I can't buy that. I can't spend that much on clothes.
I feel like dressing up, you kind of get
I'm
a bit
thinking from a
creative.
guy perspective. I'm sure girls love it. I mean, for guys, I think most of them will fleece it.
I feel like it's something that you'd buy if you're completely at a zone where you don't know what outfit to wear. But I really like getting creative with what to wear.
Okay, fair enough.
Alrighty.
We'll disagree.
Oh no, I wouldn't buy it though. I'd fleece it.
Okay.
All right. Sleep tracker headband monitors brainwaves and offers meditation audio cues.
I'm too freaked out by brainwave monitoring, so I'll fleece that.
Yeah, same here. All right, Drew, we're on to our last two. A Bluetooth enabled water bottle. It glows to remind you to drink water and it syncs with your phone. I guess it's like a ridiculous way of what the Garmin, for example, tells you.
Look, there's worse ideas out there.
Mm.
I'll say that. Honestly, I'll still ignore it.
Yep.
So
Same here.
that's a fleece it.
Fleece it. Okay, smart yoga mat for ultimate stretching and Pilates. Slay.
I'm gonna fleece it, but I think you'll have a different view.
Well,
Maybe.
I didn't write down any pricing to it. If it's less than 100, I'd consider it. But I doubt it's less than 100. So I'm going to fleece it.
No, it's gonna be beige and marketed and be 250.
I don't want to know how bad my posture is. But anyways, well, that was our
I'm
game.
gonna add a new game.
A new game.
I am gonna switch it up
A
and
new
do a
option.
surprise option.
Oh, okay.
It's a question, actually, not a game.
I'm excited.
What's the most consumerist thing you have?
My Stanleys. Oh, for sure.
Tell the audience what these things.
It's a bit ridiculous. I have a cupboard shelf full of Frank Green's, Stanley's, all of it. But let me just tell you, I have this little motto in life, or little motivation, or an affirmation our AI mirror can pop up. You should invest in things that will do good for you. And having an attractive water bottle, a functional water bottle, as I'm looking at one right in front of us, um, motivates me personally to drink water out of. And because you're supposedly drinking about 2 liters a day, you want a nice big water bottle that's resilient, so that's perhaps sustainable. It can withstand if you drop it on like concrete. So that's different. It's kind of like investing in your, reading or eyeglasses. Doesn't matter if you spend $100 more to get a particular brand. You can see you've got the tech, you're good. But regardless, I would say I could probably still do with like a $30 Woolies bottle, but I choose to go down the Amazon route of Stanley's.
That is very fair, and that's very motivational.
How about you?
We should put you on the Stanley ad.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
Maybe
That'd be
we'll
nice.
send this clip to them.
Oh yes, that would be nice. Yes, first ad actually, that would be quite nice.
Yes.
What do you have that's a bit consumeristic?
I am not a consumerist.
Oh,
But
that's what all consumers say.
yeah, we all say that.
Ah, almost fell. No, we're good.
I have all these like random texts, especially like those like Kindle e-readers. I have like 3 of them. They all do the
Yeah.
same thing, and there's no point in having
When I
so
first saw your Kobo, I'm like, is this another Kindle? And then you explained the concept that it's basically like a digital borrowing system. So not buying books on it like the Kindle. And I just
yeah, I just spend money to borrow from the library.
and
It's stupid.
and I just stood there and I'm like, he's on like even to this day, I'm like, he's onto something that I won't get. I will never logically get it. But
Anyways, that is probably the thing that jumps to my mind.
needed
It's
to
very
fleece it,
consumerist.
Drew.
Yeah,
Yes.
need to fleece it.
Oh, I dropped something else. It's all happening. But that was our game, our little segment. So if you have any differing opinions or if you think we've said something controversial, keep it to yourself.
Oh no,
Um,
leave a comment as well.
leave a dislike comment, a hate comment.
Yeah, or just comment.
You're entitled to your own
We
opinion.
will respond
See it
within
like
24
that.
hours. Like, it'll be great.
Yes, that's true. Anyways, Drew, so consumerism. So Stanleys, phones, Kobos aside, what are the real costs of staying up to date with products, being influenced by marketing ads, etc.?
Well, I think it's a bit of a trap,
Mm,
a psychological trap, right?
mhm.
Because as we said earlier, you buy these things to feel better. I called it the hedonic treadmill. I
Mm,
didn't call it that. I just
I like that
wrote
word,
it. Yeah,
hedonic.
it's a
It
cool word.
sounds very. Is that a form of meditation by any chance, or in the therapy
It's out
category?
of my expertise.
Very
It could be. It
nice.
could be.
Mm,
But so you buy these things, you expect to be happy, and you're not, and you feel like the solution is to buy more things. So you're like kind of doubling down on the same strategy. I think psychologically, I think it breeds a bit of unhappiness. You put too much weight into these products to make you happy, but unfortunately, those products can't really do that. I mean, they can improve your life, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to give you that happiness or fulfillment. So I think that's probably the biggest psychological burden.
I think if you're buying things to fill that void as well, maybe it's about time to just step back and kind of see other avenues that can put in that happiness for you.
Yeah. So, do you have any? What do you think? Is there anything else you'd add to that?
Well, you touched on the psychological aspect of feeling caught up in that fulfillment aspect. I think we should also be conscious about overproduction and waste. I had a stat here. Essentially, Australians discarded around 2.5 million tons of plastic in 2021 to 2022, with only 14% recycled, and this came from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. So you might see something that you really like, but I also think just being a little bit more environmentally conscious
That's why
about
we're
the
wearing green
things.
for those on video.
I didn't even think about that, but here we are. But yeah, I think that's one. And I think financially as well, it all adds up. Yes, treat yourself as an option, self care is an option. But, it kind of goes back to the point of, if you're just purchasing things for the sake of fulfilling happiness, I think taking a step back and reevaluating maybe other pursuits and hobbies would be
Yeah,
the best.
that's right. I think that financial point's a big one. I think it all adds up and quicker than you might think. So,
Mm,
and generally, products like we said, it's not going to give you happiness. It's not going to help the environment.
mm,
There's other avenues out there, and to the extent that you can see your friends,
mhm.
be a bit more social, do something else that maybe doesn't involve spending money or as much money to be happy. I think that might be a more
Yeah.
sustainable and more beneficial thing.
Is it I forgot her name, but is it Maria
Marie
Kondo?
Kondo,
Yeah,
yes,
so I remember, when she said something about, like, living a minimalist, clean life, hold onto a product and, see if it adds some kind of value or happiness or
sparks
something to
joy.
that effect, sparks joy, so interesting. And Dhruv, what can we do about it all? So in other words, what are consumption tips that have worked for us?
I think it's just sleeping on it. Just being like, "Do I really need this?" I mean, in the moment, you're like, "Of course, yes, yes, I do need this." But just like spend a day, a week, just thinking about it. Sometimes you still buy it and you still regret it, but this will minimize a bit of
It's
that.
just one point in your life is what we all say.
It's not a perfect solution, but I think it just helps
Yes.
just to wait and let it sink in a bit more before you
Mm.
you know click the purchase button.
Yes, I wanted to say a good example of that was for all my ladies, Overa, which is basically a product that you put on your uterus, ovaries area in that region. And it basically, during that time of the month, it kind of sends electrical waves or signals. Overa, don't come for me. I'm trying to explain your product, but I promise it's really good. Definitely works for periods of intensity. Wow, I tried to use it in a time duration, but it all kind of sinked in. But I remember like I used to get away with like hot water bottles and curling up in on the floor like a fetus, and I've been pondering buying Overa for like a year, 2 years. And it wasn't until where like every single month I would be like dying and crying and on the floor. And Drew was like, "Why have you not bought it?" So, anyways, so you ended up buying it for me. And I was like, "Holy crap, I've been considering buying this for like 9 to like 12 months." Like it was a decent amount of time, but I think just having that question of like, do I really need it? Kind of helps. In saying that, don't put yourself through pain. That ain't it. I think the other kind of tip that I find for myself is putting placed incentives. So, for example, if I say, if I can make it through the week, I'll buy myself something as simple as like, that ice cream tub or something. It sounds a bit silly to say, but I think like working for it is a nice way to kind of get over that buying things just for the sake of it kind of appearance.
Yes, it's the reward for a goal and not the goal itself.
That's right. Wise man. That's a great one.
Yeah, I'm old.
Rethinking what value means in our purchases is a next one. So perhaps when you have a product, ask yourself not only do you really need it, but what products or features will benefit you or make a difference to your life or your lifestyle, rather. I think that's a fair consideration.
Yeah, and I think just always having the goal of why are you earning money in the first place? Is it just to spend things on goods? And maybe it is, but for others, maybe you have other things you want to do, like buy a property, go traveling, invest, whatever it is. Like just think of your financial goals as well, and how
Yeah.
purchasing things fit into that.
That's a really good one. I think, yeah, in the moment, sometimes you can say to yourself, oh, it's just a one time purchase. It's fine. I can earn that $90 back. But also, it's $90 that you probably would have saved. And I probably whipped up $90 because that is like the cost of a Stanley, like 40 Oz. And I think the final one, Drew, is we talked a little bit about how valuable, a product is, but this is for the next episode. But also,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, but basically talking a little bit about the value of
Save
subscription.
it.
So
Save
tune
it.
in
Save it.
for our next episode. But all we can say is that if there's a skip feature on your subscription options, that's all you need.
Except for us, stay subscribed.
Oh yes, don't
Actually, no, no, no,
unsubscribe.
no, no. We should be consistent.
No, they have free will, Drew.
Maybe unsubscribe.
Yes. Anyways, well, that concludes episode 8 of Simply Simple. We apologize for the delay in episodes. Life has been busy, but busy is never an excuse. So the question is, Drew, are we consuming or being consumed? And is it worth being on top of the latest trends and technologies?
We are being consumed by consumption, and we are losing who we are as people.
Oh, so you're saying like products and brands are defining us,
Yes,
our identity.
we are more defined by our products than we've ever have been in the past.
Mm,
And we're less mindfully consuming than we are mindlessly consuming.
that's a good note to end it on.
It's a
Anyway,
bit too pessimistic. Can you say something more optimistic?
well, if you want to treat yourself, you do that too.
I do not disagree with that.
Alrighty, well, tune into episode 9, which is our
Penultimate.
penultimate, our pre-final penultimate, all the words in that category episode, but
For the season, by the way.
for the season, and don't ask
Still
us
be
when the
around.
next season will come out, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. But hopefully you have learned or got something out of this episode, and maybe it may provide you with some perspective as to the items in your Amazon cart right now. But you know, you'll see, each to their own. But we'll see you in the next episode.
Adios. Bye bye.
Adios. Wow.
Adios, yes.
Oh. I dropped the remote button, by the way, so I guess
God.
we'll just have to do it all manually. Farewell.
Bye bye.